How's it going, everyone? We're Mega Man, back again, this time with a hero guide for the Knight's newest hero, the Black Prior. So if you guys have seen any gameplay on him or have played him yourself, you all probably know that he is quite strong. And I hope you guys learned something new from this video. Also, I'm going to have a link in the description for a spreadsheet that shows the attack values and frame data of every move in the game, if you guys want to check that out for yourselves. Starting things off with his light attacks. Starting and chain light attacks are 500 MS from any side, and the starting light attacks are 15 damage, and the chained light attacks are 20 damage. His starting light attacks also have superior block on startup. Superior block is active between 100 and 400 milliseconds into the attack. This makes the light attack unblockable and also increases the damage to 20. And the best part about the superior light attack is that it actually guarantees a shield bash follow-up afterwards, and the shield bash guarantees a chained light for 20 damage. So in total, if you do the superior light and the shield bash, you're going to get a total of 40 damage. As for his heavy attacks, his starting side heavies are 800 MS and they do 30 damage, while his starting top heavy is 900 MS and does 35 damage. As for his chained heavies, they are 800 MS from all sides, they each do 40 damage, and they're also undodgeable. His zone attack is a 700 MS unblockable bash move that does 25 stamina damage and counts as a chain starter. On hit, it guarantees a chained light attack for 20 damage. Black Prior does have one dodge attack, which is his forward dodging heavy. So this is a 600 MS heavy attack that only comes from his top stance. And very similar to his light attacks, it does have superior block on startup between 100 and 400 MS into the attack, but unlike the light attacks, it does not get a damage increase. And for the last of his basic attacks, we have his sprinting attack. Nothing special about this move. It's a 1000 MS heavy attack that always comes from the right side, and it does 25 damage. Now on to Black Prior's special moves. We're going to start with the Tenebris Rising, which I'm going to call it a light shield bash. This can be done by doing a forward dodge and pressing Guardbreak. It's a 500 MS unblockable bash that counts as a chain starter on hit. It does 20 stamina damage, and it guarantees a chained light for 20 damage. And the light shield bash can also be done after doing a light attack. Now, it doesn't matter if you hit the light attack or if you miss it, you can always follow up with the shield bash. Now, it's the same move with the same stamina damage, same speed, and it still guarantees a chain light. The only difference is the input. Now, the last thing about the shield bash is that there is currently a bug with the move, specifically the one that is done after a light attack. So basically, if your opponent is out of stamina and you throw out a light attack, if they block it, the shield bash is going to be guaranteed. This is because the light attack still puts them in enough block stun so that the shield bash hits them before their dodge actually comes out. So I actually have the bot here to either block or dodge, so if he's able to dodge something, he does. But because he's blocking the light attack, he gets hit by the shield bash. So this is a major bug with this move right now. It makes his out of stamina pressure absolutely ridiculous, and it also means that if you're in revenge, it works the same way, because when you're in your revenge, your light attacks are not interrupted on block. This bug just makes this character absolutely ridiculous in any mode that has revenge, or even in 1v1s if you get them out of stamina. The next special move is another shield bash called the Hawk Charge, which I will refer to as the heavy shield bash. This is done by starting a starting heavy and then pressing Guardbreak to cancel it into the shield bash. This is very similar to the light shield bash, that it does 20 stamina damage and guarantees a chained light for 20 damage. The only difference is that it is a 700 millisecond unblockable bash, and while it is slower than the light shield bash, it travels much further. Now for the final special move and the most defining move to the Black Prior is the Bulwark Stance. This is a full guard stance very similar to that of Conqueror and Warlord. Now it only takes 10 stamina to enter the stance, and it doesn't take any to stay in it, meaning you can just block forever, but of course it is vulnerable to guard breaks. Now you enter the stance by holding down on the right stance control like every other full guard character, and a little bit more unique to this character, you can actually enter it quickly by doing any attack and then holding down on the stance, and you will quickly shift into Bulwark Stance. Now for the most defining move out of the Bulwark Stance, we have the Bulwark Counter. So this can be done by pressing light attack once you're in the Bulwark Stance, and it is active for 300 milliseconds after you press the button, and if you're hit by any type of physical attack or an unblockable attack, you will flip the opponent over and do a heavy that does 30 damage. Now this is vulnerable to guard breaks during the startup of it, and also if nothing hits you, you have 500 milliseconds where you can be hit afterwards. And the second move out of the Bulwark Stance is the Bulwark Slash. This is a 800 MS unblockable heavy attack that always comes from your right. It does 30 damage, it can be feinted, and it does count as a chain starter. Now on to Guardbreak Punishes. So on a Guardbreak, Black Prior gets a side heavy for 30 damage. Top heavy can be blocked but not parried. Now as for a wall throw punish, Black Prior can get a top heavy if he's in the top stance when he initiates the throw, but even then, if you're too close to the wall, sometimes it can be blocked. So I'd advise just going for a side heavy and not even bother wasting the stamina on a throw. Now as for his exhausted throw punish, we have a side light for 15 and a chained heavy for 40 damage for a total of 55 damage. Now it has to be a side light starter because the top light will always miss. This means you have to be in your side stance when you initiate the throw, or else the first light will always miss. And then after you do the chain finisher, you can always follow up with a Bulwark Slash for more pressure. Now on to Parry Punishes. So on a heavy parry, you get a light attack for 15 damage, which can be followed up by a unconfirmed shield bash or a undodgeable heavy finisher. But if you want more guaranteed damage, you can actually do a 4-dot shield bash, which will do 20 stamina damage in addition to a 20 damage light attack. As for a light parry punish, nothing special, just a top heavy for 35 damage. Now for the exhausted parry punish, we have a side heavy for 30 damage into a chained heavy for 40 for a total of 70 damage. Now we have the Revenge Activation Punish, which you do have to be in a side stance for this to work because the top light does not have a lot of range. After activation, you do a side light for 15 into a heavy finisher for 40 for a total of 55. So now that we got through all the moves and the punishes, I'm going to talk a little bit about his pressure game. And I'm going to start with the Hulk Charge, because I personally think this is not a good move in a 1v1. It is too slow of a move, and it has too long of a recovery. So personally, I just, instead of doing Hulk Charge, I feint a heavy and then do a forward shield bash instead. It's quicker and it's far more difficult to punish on reaction. So now I'm going to talk about the light shield dash, and more specifically the one that is done after you do a light attack. So this is more matchup specific, but it's still important if you're going to play the character. So whenever you land a light attack, because of the stagger of the light, if you do a shield bash afterwards, and your opponent has to dodge at the latest possible moment, and if they do that, they actually can't punish your shield bash with a guard break. So this means that if a character does not have a side dodge move, they can't punish the shield bash at all. And this pertains to a few characters, which is Black Prior, Warlord, Shigoki, and Aramusha. I might be missing one, but those are the ones I could think of at the moment. And so basically, against these characters, light attack into shield bash is a completely safe option. And of course, you can always switch it to a undodgeable chained heavy if you think they're going to dodge, but they can't punish your shield bash anyway. Next, I'm going to talk about the Bulwark Slash and how it's used as a safe pressure tool. So, the main situation where it's a safe move is if you land an attack on your opponent, which is very easy. This even counts for the shield bash light follow-up. If you do shield bash into light into Bulwark Slash, you have enough advantage to actually feint your attack, and if they try to hit you, you can parry them. Or if they try to dodge, you can react to it with the Guardbreak, or even another forward shield bash into another Bulwark Slash. So really, this move is just extremely safe, and it allows for pressure that your opponent can't really deal with effectively. So to add on to the Bulwark Slash pressure, the opponent's now going to be out of stamina, and we can see what we do here. So the main kind of loop that you can do is you Bulwark Slash and then you cancel into forward dodge. Now from the forward dodge, you can either just do a shield bash, which will punish both a parry and a dodge, or you can just, if they try to parry, you can actually just forward dodge and stop to parry their parry attempt. This way you get an exhausted punish. This pressure is almost as ridiculous as the bugged pressure with the light attack on block. It's not as bad, but it is very easy to do, and it's very hard to deal with, because if you ever get hit by a shield bash, you're going to be out of stamina, and you just keep getting pressured so much, and you can't really deal with it. So the last thing I want to talk about before I end this video is Blackbriar's basic mix-up of light into shield bash or light into undodgeable attack. So I find this a very good mix-up for how simple it is, because it's just built into the character. And I did have to take some time to practice dodging it, because I felt like the timing on to dodge the shield bash was very strict. Like you only have a very small amount of time to actually dodge it, or else you always get hit by it. And so I find myself dodging preemptively, and then I get hit by an undodgeable. So I would suggest just going into the training room, set the bot to do the two different moves back and forth, and then really get used to reacting to the bash and then parrying the undodgeable. Anyways, that's going to be it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something new. I tried to switch things up a little bit and add a little bit more talk about the playstyle of the character. While he is very simple, there are always some technical things about the character that make them very strong, and I hope I could shed some light on those technicalities about the character. Obviously, I'm not the best player, but I think I'm pretty good at explaining things, so I try to do my best here. Anyways, thank you again for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.